Welcome everybody. This is the webinar on CEFA's cacao project in Ecuador. I hope you can hear me well. You will be muted during the presentation, and at the end of the presentation you will have an opportunity to ask questions. So please go ahead and raise your hands if you need to. I will show you the mechanics on how to do this in a few minutes. And now I shall start with introducing you to Bill Guyton. He's an executive senior advisor at FCIA. So please, Bill, you can go ahead and give us an introduction.
Hi, Gabi. How are you doing today? And welcome to all of the participants on the call. I see from my screen that we have 17 people that are participating, and I know that from FCIA we had about 20 companies register for this webinar today. So we're really excited about this, and the discussions between FCIA and the project really started late last year when I had the chance to meet with Jacob from Canopy Bridge in Washington, D.C., and learned a little bit about their project and what they're doing to help companies link with supply chains in Latin America. Jacob then introduced me to Andrea, who heads the CEFA project, and really looking forward to his presentation today. So again, thank you very much to the team, Jacob, Andrea, Gabi, and others who have helped put this webinar together, and we look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Now I will hand it over to Jacob Ollander. He is the founder of Canopy Bridge, and he will also give you a few words on how this webinar will work.
Great, thanks so much, Gabi, and thank you, Bill, and hello to everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for this event. As Gabi said, I'm Jacob Ollander. I'm the co-founder of Canopy Bridge, and bringing together people like this is really what we're all about. I'm based here in Quito, Ecuador, and for those of you who don't know us, we're a company with staff both here in Ecuador and Peru, and our mission is to help connect buyers and sellers of natural products with a strong focus on sustainability and ethical sourcing. We run an online global directory at canopybridge.com, which I'd encourage you to take a look at. And we also provide on-the-ground sourcing support here in Latin America, especially in Ecuador, Colombia, and Peru. We help buyers find and assess the partners they need to build relationships, and also help producers, especially smaller producers that often don't have a global reach, connect with international counterparts and buyers. And in the cocoa sector, amongst others, we've worked with Uncommon Cacao, who some of you work with, and have supported their sourcing in Colombia and Peru, and so some of us may be connected through them and their beans as well. I met both Bill and Andrea at about the same time. Andrea runs the program that we'll be hearing about today here in Ecuador, and hearing both about FCIA and the value chain project in cocoa that Andrea runs, it just seemed like a natural fit. Ecuador is obviously a really important origin for fine flavor cocoa, and the value chain project here provides support and boots on the ground to help build farmer capacity. But they also obviously need to connect with chocolate industry counterparts like yourselves to sell their beans at the end of the day, and also to get guidance and orientation and expertise early on to make sure that they're responding to what buyers want and need. So it's a real pleasure to be able to put this online encounter together. Thank you to Bill and to Andrea for letting us do that. I'm now going to hand the mic back to Gabi so she can explain the mechanics of how this works, and then we'll hand it over after that to Andrea of CEFA for a presentation and then a final Q&A discussion with everybody. So thanks again and welcome.
Thank you, Jacob. So I will just explain you the mechanics on how to raise your hand in order to participate in the webinar with any questions you might have. So as I told you before, you can raise your hand during the entire webinar, and I will record the names of each person who, in the order that they raised their hands. So please feel free to do that. And the way you do it is, you can, if you see the screen, you will have, in the lower part of the screen, you will have a black toolbar, and there's an icon that says participants. So if you click on that icon, you will see another window opening where you will have the list of all the participants in this webinar. And here you can go to the lower part as well. And in the right-hand corner, you will be able to click on raise my hand. And that's when you will be able to see a small hand next to your name. So that's how you know that you have raised your hand. And at the end of the webinar, I will go through the list of people who raise their hands to ask you to participate. So that's basically how this will work. And the only important mechanics of the webinar. So with that, I will hand it over to Andrea Gianferroni to begin the presentation on cacao in Ecuador.
Okay, good afternoon to all. My name is, thank you very much to stay here today with us. My name is Andrea Cianferroni, and really hope you can hear me well, and I hope you can understand me, because sometimes my English has some problem. I am the legal representative of CEFA in Ecuador, and I am the coordinator of the Inclusive and Sustainable Value Chain project. It's a pleasure for me to stay here today, really, and I hope that in the future it will be possible to create direct commercial link between some of the FCA partners and some of the farmer organization we are working with. Just to know a little more about me, I'm Italian. I live in Ecuador since 2005. I was living in the Amazonian area, and we was working on projects that have driven a rural development process with a strong focus on strengthening of producer organization. Here you can see some general information of the project.
Andrea, I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is Jacob. I don't know if anybody else is having this problem, or it's just my computer. I'm only seeing the left-hand side of your slides.
Yes, that's correct. Andrea, can you please do it again?
I will.
And try to share the presentation when you go to PowerPoint. Yeah, exactly, on that slide presentation mode. No, it's
okay now?
No, it's not. Go back.
Ay, Dios mío. Okay, yeah. Okay. A moment. Hola. Ok, compartir pantalla.
Right.
Compartir pantalla.
There we see it perfectly. There we go.
It's okay?
Perfect.
Okay, maybe some technical problem, really. Okay, I will, this is some general information about the project. The project is funded by European Union, and I see that the objective of the project is to improve the productive, organizational, and commercial capacity of farmer organization dedicated to the production of coffee, cacao, and quinoa. We are working in some province of the country. Really, we are working in 3 value chain, and the implementation partner of the project are CEFA, that is leading the project. CEFA is an Italian non-governmental organization. The Ministry of Agriculture of Ecuador is our, digamos, institutional partner in the country, and the General Technical Cooperation, GIZ, which is responsible of research component on climate change and of the project, and some study about cadmium in cacao. The project started in January 2017 and will end in December 2021. The total budget of the project is almost 8.5 million of euro. And now I will show you maybe some of the area of intervention of the project for the cacao component. We are working in few provinces in the Amazonian area. In this slide, you can see some information about the estimate of the cultivated area of cacao that is made by the Ministry of Agriculture. So we are working the northern part of Amazonian area in the province of Sucumbíos, that almost have 4,700 hectares of cacao national, and almost 13,600 hectares of cacao CSN 51 and cacao super arbol. Then I will explain better to you what we mean for cacao super arbol, because maybe some of you didn't know this type of cacao. This is the province of Orellana where we are working, and this is the information about the hectares of cacao that are growing there. The province of Napo, and then we work in the coastal province of Manabí, which is the province where most of the country's cacao is produced. Here, it is estimated that there are almost 125 hectares and 26,000 hectares of cacao nacional and 22,000 hectares of CCN 51. In this slide, you can see some screenshot showing the different producer organizations we are supporting the 4 provinces. These are the organization we are supporting the Sucumbíos province. This is the organization we are supporting Orellana province. The particularity of Orellana province that you are working with a lot of small community along on the riverside of Napo. These communities, most of the organization community involved in the project in this province are characterized to being located in the buffer zone of protected area. This is the area in the green color. And they are characterized by presence of ancestral population that use traditional production system. In this area of the country, the typical production system utilized by the indigenous communities is called chakra, that is characterized by high biodiversity and a non-intensive production system. These are organizations we are working with in the province of Napo, and these are the farmer organization we are supporting in the province of Manabí, which is really the province where there are the biggest production of cacao. The province work with organizations that already have infrastructure that allow them to carry out an adequate cacao post-harvest process. They already have fermentation box, they have solar system, and so they are organizations that already in some part consolidated. One of the line of work of the project is to improve the infrastructure of the association to increase their capacity to process grain and improve quality. To the project, we want to consolidate the concept of a farmer business center, really a place where farmers not only sell their product, but also can get some service. You know, so we are thinking about purchasing of inputs, technical assistance, to facilitate the linkage with financial institutions. So it's like another, it's a different concept, you know. So in the area of where we are working, are producing all type of cacao. No? We have the Cacao Nazionale Fino d'Aroma, that for sure you will know better. We have the CCN 51. And in the Amazon area, especially in the provinces of Sucumbíos, Orellana, now we have the Super Arbol. Super Arbol is a relatively new variety developed in the Amazon region, characterized by high productivity, high resistance to Monilia, the disease, and an excellent organoleptin quality. Super Arbor really is a selection of eight clones of cacao, but in this moment, only 3 of the 8 clones are being promoted for the productive capacity and especially resistance to Monilia. In this area of the country, in the last year, people are not planting CCN 51, they are using this new variety of cacao. Some chocolate producers say that Super Arbol liquor has very good characteristic and is very they use for some recipe. And in this moment, in the province of Orellana, we are supporting a farmer organization to provide organic certified Super Arbol to a company that export this special type of product in France. This is an important alternative to cacao in the Amazon region. At the level of farmer organization, we are implementing several activities with the purpose of improving the internal management process of the organization, especially improving their administrative capacity through the introduction of new tools and improving internal democratic processes. Together with the partner and other local actors, we are strengthening the capacity of production of farmers through technical training and integrated crop management, the selection of national cacao genetic material characterized by high productivity, resistant to disease, and good organoleptin quality. The selection of native cacao variety, I think what Jacob before called uncommon cacao, and the implementation of clonal garden. One of the most important activities is the renewal of crops. Here you can see some of the activity we develop with the farmer to help them to improve the genetic of their plantation. We have a big problem here in Ecuador because unfortunately the productivity of national cacao crop is very low. The majority of crop, especially Cacao Nazionale Fino di Aroma, are produced by seeds and they are not grafted. So we have a very high production variability in the same field. The renewal of crop using genetic material that are selected through participatory process, I think represent one of the most important activities to prevent farmer to abandoning the national cacao crop and replace this type of cacao with other variety, like for example, Cesene 51 or Super Arbol, especially in Amazon area. And this is really a big problem that we have, especially for Cacao Nazionale Fino di Aroma, because the productivity is really low compared with the productivity of Cesene 51 or other types of variety. And unfortunately, in the country, especially in the Amazon area, the variety who has been promoted by the Ministry of Agriculture, selected by the National Institute of Research on Agriculture, really are not good for Amazon area. There are a lot of problems because are very sensible to Monilla and Escoba de Bruja. This is in my for a moment. So we are working to improve the processing capacity in the farmer business center managed by Farmer Association to the construction of fermentation model. We are improving solar drying system. We are improving the safety of the business center because in a lot of areas of the country this is a problem. The associations suffer a lot of robbery of products. And we are trying to introduce new technology, for example, using local biomass to improve the capacity of drying, especially in the Amazon area where the climate is so difficult for the drying to use a solar system. No, there are some part of the year, like in these months, where it's very difficult to dry the product, and this generates some quality problem. At this time, the potential market are asking for organic certification, and this is why we are supporting this type of certification. In the future, depending on the potential market, we could also evaluate entering in other type of certification. So we are really supporting the organization in the certification project, in the certification activity, depending on the market. These are other activities that we are implementing. We are implementing a very nice study on how climate change affects the cacao values chain. We are analyzing the vulnerability of the value chain of cacao, and we look about the implementation of adaptation measures. In all parts of the country, the climate change really is changing how to grow cacao. And this is true in the Amazon area, where the rain start to change the period of time where it fall, and especially in the coastal area where there are a lot of long time of really without rain. So the cultivation of cacao have some problem. We are supporting some investigation about cadmium. This is a big problem here, especially for the European market. You know about the new law that will start to be on January 2019. And we are trying to connect a link between university and student for the implementation of research activity in different levels of cacao value chain. And we are really work on all the value chain. So we will try to we are trying to do some innovation involving students and university in all the different steps of the value chain. At the end, I can see that the final purpose of our activity is to increase the capacity of association to offer high quality cacao in the market, and for sure support the farmer association to match their production to the fair market. We are working a lot on market, and we are looking for really industries or some people really interested to pay a fair price for a good quality product. And at the end, I think the most important is that the farmer receive a good, a fair price for their production. They want to make all the effort, and in a lot of cases, they are not receiving enough money for their production. The problem, one of the biggest problems here in Ecuador is that only 20-25% of cacao is marketed through producer organization. And the most part of the cacao is commercialized by middlemen. And these are what we see in our work, that organization that manage fair market system really have the capacity to influence the price level in the local market, because the middlemen are forced to raise their price, In the province of Sucumbíos, that ubicated in the northern part of Amazon region, in the last few years, we support the creation of a network of associations that are selling their product, in this case, cacao and coffee, directly to Guayaquil, in the final market, or to some buyer here in Quito. When we start in 2014, the differential of price they receive from the middlemen in the local market compared to the price paid in Guayaquil was almost 30-40% of difference. Now the middlemen in the Sucumbíos, in Orellana, in the local market, are paying price that are very close to the price paid by farmer association that are part of the network. So organizations that manage this type of market system really are able to control the price in the local market. And this for us is very nice, because an organization also, if can buy product for the 20% of the producer in the area, really allow the price to, all the people are benefit the price of this organization, because also the middlemen are obligated to increase their price. This is really one example, one of the example, because in the province of Manabí, for example, that is, I remember, it's the province with the higher production of cacao. Due to the weakness of the associative system in some place of the province, you can imagine that the farmer producer are really lost in the mountain. So it's a province with a lot of difficulty of transportation. There are not good roads, especially during the rainy season. People really have problem to reach their farm, their home. I think in this moment today, maybe some of middlemen are paying Cacao Nazionale Fino de Roma maybe at maybe 50, maximum 16 US dollar for 1 pound of cacao, of dry cacao, no? And maybe they are buying one of the best cacao, no? Because in this area, if you remember the information I passed before, the majority of the cultivation, almost 125,000 hectares, are Cacao Nazionale Fino de Roma. Today, the same in the province of Sucumbíos, one of the organization part of the network for sure is paying CCN 51 a price above $95. So, and we have in the province of Manabí, that I think one of the biggest potential area where we maybe in the future we can establish some relationship. In this moment, there is an immense amount of Cacao Nacional that we are losing in the market. And the problem is that really the farmers are not receiving a fair price for their production. We are really work hard in this province to organize the supply of cacao, no? In the place where the associative process are really weak. We hope that in the future it will be possible to increase the supply of cacao, especially of cacao nacional. I don't know really where this cacao go. For sure is mixed with CCN, and maybe will be sell by some big exporter company. This is, I think, one of the biggest problems, then we can discuss about it much later. These are some of the ongoing activity we have. We are gathering information to evaluate the commercial potential of each of the beneficiary organization of the project, and maybe of the area of production. Soon, I hope we will be able to share with you information of each of the organization with the type of cacao they can provide and the volume of cacao maybe they can provide. We are doing a little study now to understand this part because there is a lot of potential cacao, potential volume of cacao that are not passing through the farmer organization. We are helping the organization to implement an administrative management system that will be used in each organization that will allow them to improve the internal control. This is one of the biggest problems of the organization. They don't have the capacity and the tool to manage really well a commercial process, a market process. So we have a lot of problem in a lot of organization because sometimes it's not clear how the leader of the organization are managing the money of the organization. We will start to develop a traceability system that will be integrated to administrative management system. This is an important part, and the Ministry of Agriculture is really interested and are supporting us to develop this part of the project. Soon, we would like to improve this system and maybe to have all the cacao produced by farmer organization 100% with traceability. And in this moment, we are supporting organic certification process in a lot of these organizations where we are working. And we are planning to help all the organizations where we are working with some improvement of the infrastructure. We are improving the infrastructure and equipment of the Producers Association. And in the future, maybe these are some of the future action we would like to develop with the FCIA members. No, we would like to sign a memorandum of understanding with the FCIA in case that will exist the interest of some of the partners to establish some relationship with some of the farmer organization we are working with. We would like to support in the field here in Ecuador, FCIA member, partner to create some commercial link with some of our farmer organizations that are beneficiary of our project. We would like to support the farmer organization to be able to fulfill the commercial agreement that could be established in terms of volume and quality of the product. This is part, I think this is one of the biggest part of our work because sometimes there are organization that then they sign some commercial contract and then they are not able really to manage well quality and volume. So maybe sometimes there are some good company that would like to help, but sometimes there are problems to fulfill really the commitment of the people. In case of some interest, we can help to send sample of different area of the where we are working with different type of cacao. Ministry of Agriculture is raising a map of organoleptic characteristics, especially in the Manabí province, and we would like to extend this activity also to area of Amazonia that is quite interesting for a lot of aspects. And we would like to support the organization of some field visit of member of FCIA to Ecuador, maybe to meet some farmer directly and to know better some of the production areas of cacao in the country. Would be nice, I think, to exchange some experience for application of new technology for the production and processing of cacao. And this is a part that we are working hard because I think there are a lot of space for innovation in the world of cacao here in Ecuador. And we would nice if there is some experience of new technology that already are used in other country. Maybe it would be nice to see if these new technologies can be worked also here in Ecuador. Evaluate the possibility to provide in semi-elaborated product according to high quality standard through links with the local industries. Here in Ecuador, there are some industries that manage really high quality standard, and maybe would be possible to establish some contact with the industry and the farmer organization to provide already semi-elaborated products. And we would like to explore the possibility to including other products promoted by the project. I said before to you that we are working also with cafe and quinoa, maybe for the production of some chocolate products. And we was trying some chocolate with quinoa. I think for the market of the United States will be a product that will be a good future. And for sure, this is the sum of future action. Maybe later in the discussion we can find more action we can do with some of the members of FCIA. And now I will conclude my little presentation. Just remember that our is an ongoing project. Is implemented with strong partner. We have an important participation of the public, of the biggest and more important public actor, that is the Minister of Agriculture. And we have 4 more years to promote organization and enough time to strengthen the link between this organization and company that will maybe that have the will to establish direct relationship with producer. And for sure to pay a good price for one of the best quality product you can find maybe in the world. All countries, I think, say that they have the better cacao, but maybe in Ecuador we have good one really. And I think we have to work hard, I think we have to work hard so that cacao, especially the fino de Roma, can have a future in this country. We have to, I think it's important together to create a condition to allow farmers to sell their product at a fair price and involve a new generation in this project. Unfortunately, in the field where cacao grow, the most part of the producers are starting to be old, and the new generation really are not willing to involve in this world because really the price and the condition of work is quite hard. And I think industry are an important part of this process. I think this is real, no? I think we have to do all the effort together to help farmer and to help farmer organization to rise and to build really a better future. This was a really small presentation of our project, and then really I would like to answer if you have some question. So I will get I will leave Gabi to lead this part of the meeting. So thank you very much. I hope that you have understand me. It's very difficult to explain a big project in just 20-25 minutes. So if you have some question, I will be really glad to answer to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea. So we are open to a Q&A session, and I saw that in the chat part, we have a comment more than a question from Richard Fontes. I'm going to hand it over to you in case you want to express your comment on the price of cacao and how the presentation worked. So I'll hand it on to Richard, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sí, Richard.
Andrea.
Sí.
Really nice to meet you. Really, you know what you're talking about. This is no baloney. This is no BS. You're an honest man, and this country is in trouble right now because of this CCN51 epidemic. And I have a small finca in the mountains of Manabi, and believe me, I know these farmers. They're wonderful people. They're hardworking people, but they're not getting any money. And perhaps you and I can do something about this, my friend.
That will be possible, Richard. I think really one of the big problem in Manabi really is that the people don't like to be organized. So this is a fertile field for the middlemen who pay really here in Ecuador we say stolen chicken price. So it's I think
Well, Andrea,
you're right.
I'm an organizer, okay? I lived 30 years in the United States, mostly in New York City, and I've been a chef, I've been a builder, so I know how to organize. Maybe you and I can put our heads together and take care of this business out there in the mountains of Manabí and organize the farmers, because that's all they need. They need somebody that puts them together and organize them for their own benefits, you know what I mean? And to save also the cacao fino aroma, because they're cutting it down because there's no money, and they're going into cheese making. This is the true story, because I know I go back and forth. Hello?
Sí, I'm listening, Richard. We are working in the northern part of Manabí in some organization between Jama and Pedernale in Tabuga. And maybe it will be nice next time to meet you and to show you what are our plan for people in Manabí, how we can link them to some more fair organizational and commercial process.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Richard. It's good to have that perspective on the ground. Very, very much what we're seeing here. I don't know if I want to hand it over to Bill at this point, or if Bill, I don't know if you have some comments that might link what Andrea was talking about to some of the things that you're seeing within the FCI membership.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Jacob, and Andrea, great presentation, and Richard, thank you also for your comments. And you know, I think we all realize that CCN 51 is taking over a lot of the area that was traditionally planted by Nacional, and that's a threat to the fine chocolate industry. And one of the challenges is that the CCN 51 is so prolific. It's a high yielder, and farmers get bigger returns on it because it's more resistant to diseases and pests. So I guess one of the questions I have, Andrea, for you is how are you linking in with INEOP and some of the other research institutes to get planting material that's both fine flavor as well as resistant or tolerant against some of the disease and pest pressures?
Really, Bill, we are collaborating with some university and some research center in Ecuador, but I think that the best work we can do is to work with the participatory process directly with the farmers. What I said before, that the most part of the Cacao Nacional Fino de Aroma is grown by seeds. So we have in a field, we have few plants that are really, really good, and the most part of the plants are not really productive, or they have a lot of problem about the pest and disease. So what we are doing now, we are working with farmer. We are in this moment to train all the technicians of the Ministry of Agriculture. In Manabí, we have almost 100 technicians of the Ministry of Agriculture, and we are teaching them how to calibrate the field of cacao, how to select the best plant, and how to improve the genetic of the field using a grafting system in all plant. And I think this is the system that can give really fast results. And the problem is that really the plant were promoted, the variety promoted by the institution, the INEAP as National Institution for Research on Agriculture, really are really good in few areas of the country, but really are not good in the most part of the country. So they are really good in the area where this variety are developed, but really if you get this plant and you bring in other part of the country, are not really productive, and there are really a lot of problem of pest disease. This is one of the reasons why Cacao Nacional Fino de Aroma really have a lot of problem in the Amazon region. Now, in this moment, we are implementing some activity to select some variety of cacao. You seen the map before. We are working in protected area, where maybe the cacao was born. So some studies say that cacao maybe is really originated by this area in the northern part of Amazonia. And so you can find there some variety of cacao that are not studying. So maybe people don't know that. And we are trying to collect them and put in some clonal garden and try to evaluate. In this moment, with the support of GAIZ, with the cooperation, German cooperation, technical cooperation, we have almost 50 material we are trying in the Napo, is one of the provinces in the Amazon area. And I would like to share to you one moment some picture of some field where some of these variety are really growing, and you can see some field of cacao nacional that maybe can produce 30 or 40 quintals of cacao, of dry cacao for season. For sure, if we can show this to farmers, they will be able to change their production, because you cannot compare a field of CCN 51 that produce 40, 50 quintals per hectares per year with a normal plot of cacao nacional in some part of the country that produce just 3, 4, or 500 pounds of cacao. So I think the investigation can to be in this side. I think, and this will be a part that we can be supported also by some industry or some partner that are willing really to promote really cacao nacional. I would like to say that in the case of Manabí, why the reason why there are a lot of cacao nacional is that the area is so complicated that people didn't receive the help to plant CCN 51. So they are still growing the traditional cacao nacional that maybe is the one that have the most high quality flavor on organoleptic quality. I think we have to promote the diversity of the cacao and not only to grow few varieties, because this few variety was selected by some institution, some investigation institute. I don't know, Bill, if it's clear.
No, I think that was very clear. Thank you for that, Andrea. And I've been looking too, there's been some dialogue back and forth, questions about organic certification and whether that's the same thing as GMO. And so I think the company members are answering each other on some of that. I don't know if there's any questions in there that remain that people would like Andrea to address. Are there additional questions from the company representatives on the call? Well, one of the things I thought was interesting was your final 2 slides about areas of where you see collaboration with FCIA and the membership around this MOU in specific areas, such as providing perhaps a delegation to come and visit the project site, which I think is a great idea. And then getting more involved in some of these farmer cooperative activities and providing some technical input and thoughts on how to proceed forward on some of this, and looking at market linkages as well. Do any of the companies have comments about that?
So we have a question from a participant who asks if you have worked with farmer organizations in Esmeraldas. That's from Jenny Samaniego.
Okay.
Have you looked to collaborate with any organization in Esmeraldas?
In this moment, our project is only the area of intervention in our project is just to Manabí, Sucumbíos, Orellana, and Napo. We are working with GAIZ that also have a big connection and a long history of cooperation in the Esmeralda area. So when we was looking. Few days ago, we was talking with Bill and Jacob. We say, so we are not working in Manabí, but we can help to have some connection with some of the FCIA partner in Esmeralda or in other part of the project. Maybe we can do the effort to facilitate this connection. I repeat, in this moment, we are not working in Esmeralda. I know that there are a lot of good, some few but good organizations are already exporting their product, and there are a lot of sometimes small organizations that are producing their chocolate and they are selling in the local and international market. So I repeat, we are not working in Manabi, but we would, maybe we will also have the possibility to support some organization in case of some interest of some FCIA members.
So, I think this is Bill again. I'm looking at the feed of the question feeds going back and forth, which is wonderful. And I think it just shows the amount of interest from the company members and what you're doing, Andrea, and the positive feedback that they've already provided to your presentation. I really liked what you outlined as possible next steps, including perhaps a memorandum of understanding between FCIA and the member companies. And then on our side, what we could do is put together a list of those companies, including those on the call today, that would be interested in proceeding forward, moving forward with you, perhaps, and helping to identify beyond just ideas of activities to see concretely what we could achieve, what we could provide as far as value to your program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we also have a question from Jessica Ferraro. She says that, are you expecting any partnerships with exporters, the middleman? Any desire for that?
Okay, I would like to answer to a question that Jessica is doing, is if you're working with Fortaleza del Valle in Manabi.
Oh, sure.
Yes, we are working with Fortaleza del Valle, or maybe we are collaborating and we are talking with Fortaleza del Valle. And this, Jessica, I think, is one of the example of Manabi. I was talking about the general situation of the country, where the people are saying the product to a very low price. In Manabi, there are also some example like Fortaleza del Valle, that is one of the biggest organizations in Manabi. They are exporting their cacao. They are paying a very high price to their farmer, but this is limited action. They have a limited action. So if you are a member of Fortaleza del Valle organization member, and you have Cacao Nacional, and you have certification by Fortaleza del Valle, you are selling this product to a very good price, maybe $140, $115, just selling cacao in Bava. But if you are a farmer that is nearby, you don't have the certification, you are not part of this structure, you are out of the system. So maybe your neighbor is selling to $150 for 100 pounds, and you are selling at $50 to any middleman, because you cannot be part of this this structure. We are working with Berto, the leader of Fortaleza del Valle, to improve the capacity to buy product, and maybe to create a link between them and some small organization that can work like a satellite center, that they provide cacao, and we would like to repeat a little the experience that we have in Sucumbíos to Manabi. So because there are some partner that can improve their capacity. So they can improve their capacity, or maybe we can find new partners to improve their capacity of commercialization. And about the middleman, this is it's difficult to say, no? So we are working with exporters, because we are not only working with Cacao Fino di Aroma. No? We are supporting all of the organization to sell their product in the best way. There are places where there are a lot of CCN 51, so we are the organization that you are working with. They are selling CCN 51, and they are selling this to exporter. But the good is these exporters are paying a fair price. For sure, is the market price. But at least how I tell you before, in this moment, maybe there are some organization in Sucumbíos selling their CCN 51 at $95 for 100 pounds. And today in Manabi, one neighbor of Fortaleza del Valle is selling to $50 for 100 pounds the Fino di Aroma. So I think we have to work with all the actors of the chain.
Thank you, Andrea. We have a question from Jacob and then Jenny Samaniego. Jacob, please.
Okay.
Sorry, I was muted. You know, I love the idea that Bill was suggesting of trying to organize a delegation from FCI members to come and visit Ecuador and get to know some of the organizations more directly that Andrea's project is supporting. And it occurs to me that one of the things that we could also be thinking about is, Andrea showed us some very nice maps, and I know he's developing a series of pretty detailed profiles of each of the producer organizations they work with, and kind of mapping out and looking where the intersections of where FCI current sources, members' current sources, and interest in sourcing lies, and how that might overlap with Andrea. So that might be something that we can continue to work on offline and think about how those geographies align. The other thing I just wanted to ask, and maybe throw it out to people in the FCI membership, the companies that are outside of Ecuador, you know, what are the ones that are inside Ecuador as well? You know, what are the kinds of sourcing challenges that you guys are facing that a project like Andrea's might be able to help address? There's obviously a considerable amount of effort and boots on the ground and resources being deployed to help build farmer organizational capacity and technical capacity. And it would be great to see how that those align well with what the market and the chocolate industry is actually looking for. So I'd be curious to hear from the FCI membership if there's any things that really jump out at you from that presentation that would be important and useful, or gaps that I should be thinking about addressing.
So you can raise your hand or write us in the chat and we will let you speak. So there is Barbara Wilson. I will let you speak, Barbara, because otherwise I'm the only one talking and telling the questions. So Barbara, please. Wait, I'm trying to, yeah, there we go, Barbara.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hi, everybody.
We can hear you.
Hello? Yes, okay. Yeah, we've been working directly with farmers in Ecuador. We've been doing it on our own to help them improve their post-harvest process and the quality of their products. We've been hiring technical experts to do trainings, but it would, you know, we're just a tiny little company, and it would be nice to have some help doing that without it costing us. So I'm wondering if there's some way we can sort of get into that system where we get some help and have access to experts who know how to increase productivity of their farms and also the post-harvest part of the process. We've been just trying to figure it out as we go along, but it would be nice to have somebody help us do that.
No, just to answer to Barbara, no, maybe some more information. It would be nice to know where are you working and with which organization are you working. I think at local level it's possible to find a lot of help, I think, and there is a big actor that is the Ministry of Agriculture that had some problem, but I think have also a potential. I think if we are working in the area, if your organization are in the area where we are working, I think it will be possible to find some connection and maybe to support the organization to increase their productivity, especially if you, with your industry, with your company, can buy their product. So I think if the market is sure, I think it will be more easy to work with people.
Yeah,
That's it.
Well, we're chocolate makers, and we have a place in Ecuador, in Mindo, Ecuador.
Okay.
We're chocolate makers, and we also have a little chocolate factory in Michigan. And then we have in Quito, we have mostly chocolate makers, but we immediately noticed that we needed a better quality product of, better quality cocoa beans. And we prefer to buy directly from small farmers and work with them on improving their product.
Okay.
Now we also have a comment from Jessica Ferrara about the question that was asked by Jacob. So I will let her speak. Jessica.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry?
We can hear you.
I don't know that I don't have another question. I think we've been addressing them all, but thank you.
Oh, sorry, I thought you had a question or a comment on tours that you're doing in Manabi.
Oh, well, yeah.
Please share that with us. Sorry.
No, yeah, I mean, it's just there, and I hope it's not inappropriate to share that here. I think I believe it's relevant. You know.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
And unfortunately, I have to run. So I thank all of you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Okay, so now we just have a question or a comment from Jenny Samaniego, and she was asking, how do you choose the organization that you will collaborate with, Andrea?
Okay, I say in the presentation we are working with some organizations that already have some, digamos, little infrastructure that we allow them to realize a post-harvest process. We know that there are a lot of areas where there are not, digamos, this facility, and there are a lot of groups of producers that are producing cacao. So the idea of the project is to strengthen some organization to improve their capacity of processing of cacao beans, and at the same time to create a linkage between this organization to other groups that are in areas where there are not this facility. And the idea is that not just to link, but allow to this group to be part of the organization. You know that the farmer organization theoretically are open organization, that if there are some groups of producers, we would like really to involve them in the life of the organization. So if we have some farmer business center that are improving their capacity to buy and to process cacao beans, the idea is to try to involve more people around this center. Now we have some example of farmer business center in the Amazon area that are providing services, or at least they have maybe 400, 600, 700 clients, so people who are selling them product. The idea is to create some center, strength some center to allow them to buy more product and to benefit more people. It's quite difficult to have a map of it, because Manabi, there are a lot of strategic areas, especially in the north and the center part of the country. And I think will be nice if you live here in Ecuador, if you live in Manabi, maybe it will be nice to meet you and maybe to make to share our strategy and to see how really to involve more farmer in this organization.
Jenny is raising her hand. Please, you can go ahead and reply.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Andrea, for the information that you share. I am Jenny from Conexión Chocolates, and I actually been bringing actually chocolatiers to Ecuador for about 5 years in a row. We have our last meeting from chocolatiers of the US a week ago, and we have been traveling to different cocoa associations. So pretty much what we do as Conexión Chocolate is we work with 4 provinces directly with the cacao associations. In this case, we work with Fortaleza del Valle in Manabi, so we're very familiar with them. We work as well with Uoprocae and Esmeraldas. That was my question, if you know you have some collaboration over there as well. Because I think the cocoa farmers, at least that we work in Esmeraldas, have a really amazing project of what they are doing on the cacao, on the national cacao. We work with Apovinces. In this case, you might be familiar with Julio Cerezo. And we work as well in Puerto Quito. This is kind of something that I share with Barbara Wilson, where in this area, I feel as well that there is a lot of need of technical support as well. I think at least the cocoa farmers that we're working with, they have national cacao. At least we work only with national cacao. We really work on preserving the national cacao as Conexión, and we work over there with some cacao farmers that I feel that they can do a lot of what they're doing at this point, but unfortunately they don't have infrastructure, and pretty much they are working along. So we do one of our chocolates with them as well. So I think already there are 2 companies from Ecuador that are working with this region. So it might be worth it to take a look and see what we can do in that region there.
Okay.
I am based in Quito, and I'll travel constantly from Quito to the US, or I am traveling constantly in the plantations here in Ecuador. So I'll be happy to meet if we can arrange an appointment with you, Andrea.
Yes, for sure. I'm living in Quito now, so willing to meet you and to talk about cacao.
Awesome. So maybe I'll share my email address with you, or how do we connect?
Maybe we can ask to...
So I have your email addresses, and I will send them over to Andrea.
Okay.
Okay, Bill, do you...
And Gabby, and vice versa, I think what we'll do after this webinar is follow up. We'll send people the link if anybody wants to share it, because all this is being recorded. And we can also send out the contact information for Andrea and his team. So if anybody wants to follow up offline afterwards, they'll have that information.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bill, if you want to wrap up and make final
Great.
comments.
Well, this is Bill jumping on the line, and I know we're coming up on the hour. So I just wanted to, if I could, provide a few kind of concluding remarks, and then turn it over to Jacob and Andrea to hear your final thoughts too. But first of all, I just thought this was a wonderful presentation, and I learned a lot, and I'm really excited that there were so many FCIA company members on the line, and with also such a deep knowledge of Ecuador. Jenny, I'm excited to make the contact with you and to know that you're making those tours, and to see how we can, collaborate together and see that continues forward, and bringing in FCIA members. Just a couple of, or 3 or 4 concluding thoughts. One is that would love to have the feedback from the companies on the call on what you felt about the webinar, what you felt worked well, and what additional information you might like, and again, how FCIA can help follow up to provide linkages with the project, and hopefully to get an MOU signed. The second thing is there were several questions about farmer training and capacity. And Andrea, I don't know whether on your website, or Jacob, maybe you as well, might have some resources on training materials that we could share with the company members that might be interested in utilizing those. I know Barbara, for one, had asked about that. So perhaps if the project could share that with us. And then the final comment is on June 30th, we're having the conference for FCIA in New York, and we would very much welcome Andrea, you and your team, and Jacob, you and the people from Canopy Bridge to participate in that. And fingers crossed, if everyone agrees and we can identify the key areas, would love to have a memorandum of understanding signing at that point, if not before. So I'll leave it at that, and then turn it over to Jacob, and then to Andrea.
Bill, how did you know that I'm called Jakob at home? I'm of Danish descent. That was insightful. No, thank you so much, Bill and Andrea. Thank you so much for putting this together. I think there's a lot of potential for collaboration, and I hope that there will be threads that we'll follow up on afterwards. It was great to hear both, see that there's both participation from Ecuadorian membership of FCIA and folks from abroad. I think there's a lot of synergies and potential here, and it would be great if we could take some next steps together. I'm hoping that I'll be in New York at the end of June, so maybe we'll all be able to see each other, or some of us will be able to see each other there. And I really encourage you to reach out to Andrea and explore specific areas of collaboration. I obviously think there's sort of trade and commercial relationships that might be able to be supported by the CEFA project here in Ecuador. It also strikes me that on the technical side, there may be some opportunities for sort of co-investment in building the capacity of farmer organizations and their production and post-harvest capacity. So I think those are all things that each member may have different interests in, but I would definitely encourage you to reach out to Andrea, and if we can be of any help with that from Canopy Bridge here, we'd be delighted. But thank you so much to all of you for joining, and Andrea, I'll leave the closing remarks to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Jacob. So I will just end to remind you that here in Ecuador you have a partner. You have a lot of partners. We was looking in the presentation, but we have our project that really can support all of the FCIA partners if really they are willing to find some collaboration with some organization. I was saying to you that we have 4 years more of our project, so I think we have enough time really to build this relationship. And here there are CEFA, there are our project with our partner, there are the Ministry of Agriculture. For sure, Canopy Bridge is an important actor here, can support some of the members of the FCIA. And really, there are a lot of work to do here. I was saying, I hope in the future we would be able to offer in the market a big amount of good cacao from small farmer to help all this cacao really with traceability, good quality, and the strength organization. So in the future, I hope you will have more possibility to have good partner here in the farmer organization. And I would like to thank all of you, all the members of CIA, Canopy Bridge, to help us. It was a pleasure to know you. And for sure, it will be we would like to stay there in the meeting of FCIA members in June. And maybe it would be nice to stay in touch in the next week to organize this visit, maybe to know better. And I think we have to work in this memorandum of understanding. I think will be nice and will be very useful to sign a memorandum of understanding with you. And really, I think for sure they will share to all the participants to the meeting our contact. And I would like to say to all the participants of the meeting if they want to write to me, and maybe we can share more information. I was looking about farmer training material to share with you, and I think so we can do a lot of work, and I hope in the future really we can collaborate on to improve the farmers' life condition. Thank you very much
to everyone, and we will send you after this the link with the recording of the meeting and Andrea's contact information. Thanks a lot for participating. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Bill. Bye-bye.